I'm doing the plate full of cocaine. I have an overdose. I am not high. I am definitely know what's going on and where I'm at. And I'm shocked because I'm just like, what happened? And that's when I realized I died. And so as I'm going down, the next thing that comes to my head is, oh my God, I died and I'm going to hell. I start to tell the Lord, well, I think there's some kind of mistake here because, you know, I've never killed anybody. I've never robbed a bank. I've never done anything major that I think, you know. I'm making all these justifications why I don't deserve hell. It seems like it starts going faster and faster. And so when I realize that there's nothing I can do to turn it around, I get to this place of desperation where I cry out to the Lord. And all of a sudden, the Spirit of the Lord comes down and I feel the presence of God. I knew because there was a sense of peace that came down right beside me. And He says, Paul, what have you done with the life that I've given to you? I know what Adam felt like to stand before the Lord and be totally exposed and naked before God. Because every thought, every motive, every intention, before I even thought it, He knew what I was thinking. As I'm trying to figure out what the right answer is, before I could answer, my life flashes in front of me as big as the sky. And it was right then and there, God and I began to look at my life. And everything I had did in secret and open, good or bad, everything, every detail of my life was flashing right before me. It was almost as we were watching the film of my life, every detail, every moment. And at this point, I was about 30 years old. And so from birth all the way up till this point, you know, God was just revealing to me what my life looked like to Him. I was now looking outside in and getting God's view of my life. It was only then that I realized how selfish I was. And so it was only then that I realized I didn't give God glory, honor. It was at that point that I realized that how I didn't have any relationship with God. What a sinful man that I was. I had done nothing with this thing, this precious thing called life that God gave me. I had done nothing for Him with it. And so it was at that point that I began to think to myself, you know, God is not wrong in sending me to hell. It was at that point that I realized that God was just in His actions in sending me to hell. I couldn't weasel my way out of this one. I couldn't come up with an excuse. You know, the truth was before me. And it was probably the saddest moment in my entire life. And so at that point, I began to tell the Lord, I feel like there was a change of heart in me. It was at that point that I said, God, I don't even want to come back for me. Matter of fact, if you want to send me to hell, it's okay. But I don't want anybody to come to this place. Absolutely nobody. Bam, I wake up and I'm in the hospital with the IVs. And I look over to my side and I see Lillian. And I tell her, I said, I found that God you've been telling me about. And I'm not going back. I'm not going back to hell. I said, from this point forward, I said, I'm going to serve Him.